Hey everyone, here to make a video very quickly as I just head out the door because I had a thought that came to my mind as I was plugging away on different work duties that I have to do for my job. It was around how I went through a rigorous boot camp by doing WGU and South College, both competence-based programs, and I want to talk a little bit about why I think that's the case and how it made me a better worker overall. So stay tuned. I am someone who values efficiency in many parts of my life, and efficiency not for the sake of efficiency or just being quick to get things over with, but because I like to optimize my energy. And I feel like if I can do things in a streamlined way, I can have more time for the things that really matter to me in my life. And a lot of the time, that actually isn't to do with just work in school and whatever. I mean, I do like learning, but I like learning on my own terms as well. And I also like taking care of my health and wellness. I like spending time with certain people in my life. I like going for simple mindful walks in my day. I like exercising to some degree. So I like certain things. And in order to do those things and have a balanced life, I feel like efficiency really matters. So when it came to deciding upon degree programs after kind of at a later stage in my life, when I worked and already went to school, I really thought about what are programs that help me optimize my time and get good at optimizing my time. And that's where competence-based education came into the picture. I stumbled into WGU just randomly through someone's video. And so upon enrolling in the program, going into a program at WGU and then doing a second one, I really understood that having certain constraints like financial constraints, time constraints in one's life, that can be very good motivators to getting things done. So for me, I knew I didn't have a lot of money to get things done over years and years. I designated a term to get one of the masters done, and then another term to get another master's done. And then when I was at South College, I wanted to spend at least a couple terms doing the program, even though I kind of took a pause or whatever, opted out for now. And also, I knew that if I self-imposed these deadlines and I could stick to them, that I could gain momentum. And that's what I tried to do. So I find that at the beginning, it's difficult. Well, actually, that's a lie. It might not be difficult at the start of a program because, you're excited, you're engaged in the fact that you're starting something new. But, after a while, you get into a routine and it's less exciting. And so for me, it was kind of reminding myself, okay, if I can maintain and grow momentum by doing what I set out to do, which is, let's say, an activity a day, an exercise a day, an assignment a day, whatever you want to call it, and fulfill that, it kind of like gives you this boost. And then day by day, as you see that boost kind of grow and you see yourself building confidence that, hey, I can do this, I can stick to something, even though there will be days where, you fall off the bandwagon. You don't go down a spiral because of that. You just accept that some days are better than others. But generally, you have a range of which you want to complete something. So, 1 to 2 assignments a day, and you do that, you really start to create and build in this neural network for yourself of concentration, dedication, completing tasks, even if they're not easy. And then, maybe you even get a little dopamine hit from completing those tasks. And along the way, hopefully you're also engaged in what you're doing. So you should be putting a lot of time and effort in something that you actually want to do. If you don't want to study education and you feel like you should do that because, the degree seems inexpensive or the degree seems like something others might appreciate, then you're really going to have a hard time doing the day-to-day effort, hitting the ground, getting things done. So you want to choose something you're genuinely interested in. And for me, that was always education because I am an educator. As someone who actually studies adult learning, people generally find learning more intriguing if they have some sort of direct experience they can reference, past experiences that fuse to what you're learning in a way that makes it more meaningful, something that really you can find enjoyment in because you either have that experience that you can reference or you have that strong aspiration that you want to experience this, whether it is like being an educator and it just excites you to learn more about a material that may be new and novel for you. So taking all of what I just said, building momentum, being dedicated, training yourself to focus on tasks, get them done, getting boosts, that is going to integrate into your life in other ways rather than just school. It actually helps you in your work. Because a lot of the times I find myself, and probably others find themselves, doing tasks that are either mundane or things that they don't want to do, or they're just tired of doing them. And you think back to how you've trained yourself in competence-based education. I was able to set small goals to bigger goals and just plug along. And you think back to all your strategies. So I would set stopwatches to see how long it would take me to do tasks. And then I would transition into setting timers eventually just to see if I could get things done in a certain amount of time. And if I didn't, it wasn't the end of the world, but I could play games with myself. And then I do this in my work. Now, obviously, you don't want to exhaust yourself through this process of having to play games with yourself all day long to get work done. But at times we need techniques to help us keep doing work. I mean, we live in a world where the world of work plays a big mark on many people's lives. Now, even today, there I am kind of having to do some tasks which actually aren't mundane. They were pretty complex, developing a certain curriculum, really thinking about certain learning outcomes and thinking about how this kind of manifests into more learning down the road and maybe courses that I'll develop later on. And so, it's a pretty intricate way of having to work to think about all this and to map it out and to problem solve in a way. There are those initial thoughts and feelings of like, oh, this is hard. I don't know if I want to do this. But when you go through competence-based education, you've proven that you can work hard and maybe even accelerated. You kind of think back like I did today and said, hey, I've been here before. Just break this down into kind of some smaller pieces, take a couple breaks along the way, and then zoom out and see what you've accomplished in a couple hours, which, you get that nice feeling of, oh, hey, I've accomplished quite a bit. Honestly, when I was in school and I was struggling to be motivated, most of the time it came down to just getting started. Once I got in the flow, once I got going, once I just felt like I was doing what I needed to do, it really wasn't that bad, even for complex tasks, because everything can be solved eventually if you just kind of figure out where to start, what the next step is, and even if the next step takes you on a little bit of a windy road to find out how to solve that next step, that's okay. Just go down that path for a little while and then come back. It reminds me a lot of the time when you have a dinner party or you have a late night of cooking and you've got a lot of dishes and your kitchen just looks insane because you're just overwhelmed by the pile of dishes. And you're thinking, how do I do this? Like, I don't think I have the motivation, the energy, I don't have the interest to do this right now. But then you stop and you think, okay, what if I just look around and get rid of the garbage? Not even worry about the dishes. Get rid of the garbage. Just, that's it. And if I do that, perfect. That's enough. And you're talking to yourself like this. Good job, Justin. You just need to work on the garbage. You do that and you think, hey, that wasn't so bad. And then you think, well, what if I just soak the dishes that really need a lot of work here? Fill up the sink, you get that done. You put the dishes in, you soak those. And then while that's happening, you think, well, let me just put all the cutlery together and organize it a little bit before putting it in the dishwasher. And slowly but surely, time starts to go by and you start to realize, hey, I'm kind of halfway done a task. What if I just finish this? Like, I'm just going to take a couple more steps here, finish it, and then be done. I mean, that mindset a lot of the time is how I did hard work, and even work that stretched my mind where I didn't even have solutions in the moment to figure everything out. I just, again, broke it down into smaller steps. And I know breaking it down to smaller steps doesn't work for everyone because even those small steps can get overwhelming. But then focus on maybe the step that interests you the most if you're a very interested-oriented person or motivated by your interests. So let's say with the dishes, I actually love crushing the cans. I don't know, the empty pop cans or the empty bottle cans, the empty water bottles, whatever. I don't know. There's just something very simple and satisfying with doing that. So maybe I just start crushing the cans, throwing them in the recycling bin, and then being like, hey, okay, what else do I want to do next? So these are just some initial thoughts that I have around me figuring out my method to being productive, which many people ask about in the comments. And how do you do it? How do you get all that done? How do you stay productive at work? How do you stay productive at school when you have work? That kind of thing. And I thought it would be useful to share because probably many of you who watch these videos are also in a similar boat. So if you have your own techniques, your own ways of mastering your mind to get yourself motivated, feel free to share them below. We always love hearing from others. And when I say we, anyone that's watching these videos, looking at the comments. So feel free to share. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video.